last night at the London Stadium was another one of those nights for West Ham. The crowd came expecting a response, but what they got was frustration, flatness, and a 2-0 defeat to Brentford that left more questions than answers. So we're going to break it all down, look at the tactics, the body language, the key moments, and where it all went wrong. Welcome to the breakdown, where we don't talk just about the result, we dig into what we really think went wrong and try to come up with some solutions for the game against Brentford. If you like what we do, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you're new. So let's have a look at the team ratings. This is from the Finalysis team ratings, which collates and averages out scores from all fans, all West Ham fans, for the game. If you want to get involved, download the Finalysis app and get added on as a Finalysis or Finalist. So you can see it's out of 100. Top performer being Quisenza Somerville, which is probably right, to be honest. But you can see some poor numbers. Kilman 23, Todibo 24, pretty much said the whole. That sort of is the narrative throughout the whole of the match. It was a very, very poor match. And analyst Ben has been through the game, looking at the stats, come up with some suggestions and some key points of why we were so poor last night. So have a quick look at the attacking stats. You can see an XG of 0.33 at home against Brentford. That is awful. Only 40 touches in the opposition box. An aerial success rate of 30%. We're going to talk about that in a lot more detail in a bit. Opponent shot creating actions, 24. Ball recoveries, 41s. And goalkeeper post shots, 2.3. Tackles in the final third, 3 as well. Looking at the midfield, which is where I think it was completely lost. I thought Jordan Henderson, Damsgaard, had a field day against us. You can see here only 6 progressive passes in the game, only 78% pass completion rates, and only 18 progressive carries. Expected pass turnovers, 1.88. You can see attacking the wings, obviously, with our best bets. The left wing, a little bit more so, even more so in the second half. I think when Diouf came on, gave us a bit of an attacking threat on that left-hand side, albeit I thought Diouf was pretty poor defensively. I thought the whole side were pretty poor defensively. I think we looked weak. We got shoved off the ball easy enough. And in the game now, where it is very much more about the physicality of the game, you know, it's about disruption. It's about set pieces. We just look totally inequipped for any of that. So what does it mean? What does that tell us? What do these data points tell us? Well, you know, catastrophic lack of offensive punch and creativity. Our attack is functionally non-existent. You know, we had a low expected goals of 0.33 XG, a single shot on target, and they show a complete failure to even get into the scoring positions. And that's compounded with only 2 successful take-ons. The attack is predictable. It's easily defended and completely lacks the necessary individual skill or tactical structure to break down organised teams such as Brentford. We are, in essence, toothless in possession and lack any real threat. Next one is the physical and aerial fragility. You know, this huge disparity in aerial success rate. We had 30%, Brentford had 70%, is a critical vulnerability that opponents can easily exploit. They know we're a soft touch. And this weakness means we're structurally unable to defend long balls, crosses, set pieces. And they've all led to goals being conceded. And even yesterday, yes, the score was 2, but it could have been a lot more. They hit the crossbar in the second half. The goal disallowed as well. But furthermore, not only defensively is it poor, but it prevents us from using things like long balls as a reliable pressure outlet, you know, forcing us to repeatedly lose possession in dangerous areas. How many times yesterday was it hoofed up to a Jarrod Bowen who's about 1.5 foot smaller than Nathan Collins consistently. And it was ridiculous how many times we lost possession. You can see why they got 70% success rate for an aerial from aerial duels. And lastly, in terms of what it tells us, tactical and structural instability under pressure. The combination of low possession, only 43%, and high interceptions, 21, confirms West Ham consistently and constantly defend deep. And the midfield and attack's inability to retain the ball or provide an outlet secures a vicious cycle of pressure and quick possession loss. This forced reactivity and failure to transition effectively is the likely cause of the team's lack of cohesion and passes clicking, leading to high anxiety and energy drain. I mean, it all seemed yesterday to be the pass was a bit too ahead of someone or a bit behind someone. The number of times that simple passes across the back between 𝗣𝗏𝗦𝗬𝗠 and 𝗏𝗏𝗏 were overhit or not directed to the feet, and then obviously that puts the defender under pressure, because then the Brentford forward will then start sort of closing the space down. They then pass back to Areola. Areola either looks for an outlet for the other centre half, which sometimes is being cut out by the Brentford player, or goes long. And then by going long, we then lose possession again. But, I like big buts and I cannot lie. We could fix this. In a change to the zonal marking, as 5-point plan, directly addresses the high rate of headed goals conceded from crosses and set pieces. However, the issues are deeper than our positioning, but that could be a start. In terms of the roles of wingers and fullbacks, instructing the fullbacks and the wingers to apply immediate high pressure on opposition players attempting to cross the ball. How many times yesterday did the Brentford wingers, in essence, have, and in Damsgaard as well, if he's out wide, they had so much time to deliver a quality ball. By putting on pressure, it prevents them from delivering these high-quality deliveries, and it forces the opposition to rush or shoot from wider, deeper positions, which would lower their XG. And, it would reduce the percentage that it could be a goal if the delivery is poor. But they had so much time. And, I thought both fullbacks, for both halves, really, maybe less so Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but definitely the other three, they had their opposite half had so much time on the ball. I mean, half the time, bloody Bowen was playing as a right back. That's not what we need, Jared. Next one. Fast vertical passes upon winning possession. It seems simple, but instructing the players to make these passes fast, quickly when they've won possession, that quick change in pace, shifting focus from failing possession play football to a high percentage attacking based on speed. We've got players, we've got speed, we've got the likes of Somerville, we've got the likes of Diouf, we've got the likes of Bowen, Wan-Bissaka. These guys are quick. But when we get the ball, we seem the outlet's not there. It's about those wingers making the runs, and it's about those balls being done quickly. But it's not. It's so slow. So slow. And by then any organised side is back on track, and then you're sort of playing catch up again. Then you're starting to pass the ball around the back, trying to find a spot, trying to find a space. And potentially offering Paqueta a freer role, and this could help point 3 rather. Allowing him to move more freely in the final third with explicit instructions to play those sort of killer passes. I mean, yesterday he was playing as a false 9, and the trouble is, by playing a false 9, you basically clipped his creative wings. He's our most creative asset. You like it or not, he is our most creative asset, and allowing him to unlock opposition defenses and generate these key passes. We had fuck all yesterday in terms of key passes generated. It's a massive part that's missing. Having these key passes unlocked. You look at something like Damsgaard yesterday. He just kept on finding these pockets behind the central midfield and the centre backs. And it was really hard to defend against. we've got someone who can do that in Paqueta, but because he's been made to do this sort of false nine role yesterday, that sort of clips that ability to do that. I just think offering him slightly more freer role may well help unlock these defences a bit more consistently. And then potentially maybe even a formation change. Maybe going to a more compact formation, maybe a 4-4-2, form a deeper, thick defensive block without the ball. Yes, it's not the most exciting, but fuck, we need some sort of defensive block at the moment. You're having two strikers in essence cut the passes out between the centre halves. The midfield lines up closer to the defence. It's quite compact. It's easy to maintain, particularly with a quick turnaround, and limit space for the opposition to find those pockets of plays to play through the middle. A more compact formation yesterday could potentially curtailed the ability of Damsgaard to find passes, which he consistently found throughout the whole of that game. And statistically speaking, if he did move to a 4-4-2, the attacking option, maybe could be Marshall. I thought he came when he did all right. I thought he came when he made, a new use of himself, maybe Marshall and Bowen, but obviously allowing Bowen to drift out onto the right-hand side where he's more deadly coming off the right-hand side. I don't know, but I just think for me, it seems that there's ingredients there, but they're just not being baked in the right order. They're trying to make a souffle, but they're not frothing up the eggs enough, or they're throwing the whole egg in rather than sort of separating the egg and the white. For any of you chefs out there, and I hope that Nuno is the man who can put those ingredients together. An interesting point was made. As he was walking off the pitch, one of the fans shouted out to him, "It's not good enough, Nuno," and he shook his head and he agreed. He knows he's got a tough job ahead of him. And it's going to be interesting to see the reaction we get on Friday against Leeds. Anyway, that was the breakdown. Let us know what you think. If you enjoy this type of content, let us know. If you don't, let us know. Anything you want us to include in the breakdown going forward. Rule is it's a new format we're trying out to try and give you a bit more meat on the bone, so to speak. Don't forget to like, comment, share. Don't forget to give it hype. And we'll see you later on, my friends. Take care. Much love. Bye. Bye.